Things are getting spicy. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Should I put the Bears on here because they finally fired Shane Waldron? No. Grossi, and today we are going to be ranking the top 10 teams heading into week 11 of this NFL season, and things are starting to get a little bit crazier as we get into November football. We're going to start to see the identities of these teams really start to shine through. Who's good, who's bad, who's clogging toilets, who's beating the Falcons. Oh, wait, that is the same team. And so before we get into the top 10, we got to do some honorable mentions. Starting off with last week, I did not put the Texans/Strouds on this list because their offensive line definitely gave me some pause. I didn't know how good they were going to be against the Lions, and I got to give them a lot of credit. Their offensive line played pretty damn good, and I know while it's really disappointing they lost, they did go toe-to-toe with the Lions. And at one point, they were up 23-7 in that first half. Hell, I mean, there were 5 interceptions from Jared Goff. Unfortunately, their offense, looking at you, Bobby Slowick, was unable to score a single point in the second half, ultimately leading to the Lions winning that game. But I got to give credit to the Texans. Their offensive line, like I said, looked good. I think they definitely can compete and hold their own with some of the best in the NFL, like the Lions. And so because of that, I got to give them a shout out and an honorable mention. And the second team I'm going to give an honorable mention to is the Green Bay mother-loving Packers. And you might be thinking, oh, here Tom goes again on his cheesehead rants. But this is not for everyone. This is just for other NFC North fans. And I just pull in a little bit, just zoom in a little bit. I want to make sure this is very clear. No, that's too much. Okay, thank you. You know how for the past, 10 weeks or so, it's been all about Jordan Love and, oh, look at all the interceptions he throws. Jordan Love with another interception. Jordan Love, Mr. Interception. I don't know if anyone's called him that, but I'm just going to pretend that they did. And let's take a look at some stats here. One, we won't look at the Bears because they're suffering enough. But looking at Sam Darnold, who threw 3 interceptions on Sunday, and that brings him to 17 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on the season. But hold on. Let us go to the MVP frontrunner that is Jared Goff, he said with sarcasm, even though I do think Jared Goff and the Lions are a really good team. It's fine. 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And if we look over at Jordan Love, who is at 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, I don't want to hear ever again this season about interceptions from Lions fans, from Vikings fans. I don't want to hear it at all because your saviors, they got the same amount of interceptions, -1 for the Lions. So, Packers, you get an honorable mention. You had a bye week. Now let's go kick the Bears' ass. Sorry, Bears, not really. Starting off with number 10. You got the purple incarnation of Satan, the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, oh boy, I really contemplated putting you on this list. I didn't know, maybe I was going to put the Falcons up there, but honestly, I just do not trust the Falcons. And you lost to the Saints. I told you I already had kind of reservations with them. They just proved me correct there. Let's see if they can rebound. But I want to talk about the Vikings because that was an awful game that they put on display against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sam Darnold had 3 interceptions. However, the Vikings, they can at least credit one person for that win.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're just lucky that Mac Jones sucks more. And talking about the Vikings, I still think they are a solid football team. Obviously, there are cracks within that team, and I don't fully believe in that Brian Flores defense, the amount of yards that they're giving up. And Sam Darnold, we'll see if he's going to turn into a pumpkin. But at the end of the day, I think the Vikings still have some awesome weapons on offense. Aaron Jones, of course. You have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. So that offense can definitely go. Not a great performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, I do think there's a pretty good chance that the Vikings still make the postseason. I know they'll be fighting for a spot at the end, but it is a very crowded NFC. And at the end of the day, even through 3 interceptions, if I'm going to give credit to the Lions, I got to give credit to the Vikings because the Vikings ultimately did win that game. It was not pretty. It was not against great competition, but hey, Packers barely beat the Jaguars too. So I will give you your props for this week, even though it was ugly. And one more loss, Vikings. You'll be off the list. Number 10. Number 9, you got the Los Angeles Chargers. Welcome to the list, Chargers. You got an honorable mention shout out last week, and Justin Herbert had to remind everyone who he was.
I'm him. I'm literally him.
The Chargers getting the win over the Tennessee Titans, and the Chargers, they're putting together a very nice season. You look at that defense is for real. That offense, Justin Herbert, he is humming along. They got the run game going. And Quentin Johnston, he can catch touchdowns all of a sudden. And you just see the impact of good coaching on the Chargers. And considering where the AFC is at, it's very top heavy. There are going to be openings for a wild card spot in the AFC. And I think the Chargers are a great candidate to get that spot. And as we head deeper into November football, we are going to start talking about playoffs more and more. And the Chargers, even though the Titans are not a great football team, the more that they play, the more confident I grow in them, which is probably going to lead me to disappointment just because the Chargers do it to me all the time. But as of right now, I do think they are worthy of a top 10 spot, coming in at number 9. And let's see if they can keep on humming along. Number 8, you got the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go, Cardinals! My underdog pick to make the wild card round. Oh, things are going well in Arizona as they just slap the crap out of the New Jersey Jets. And don't look now, but the Cardinals are on a 4-game win streak. And I think their secret team building activity is helping out.
At the Stanford branch, they all play this World War II video game called Call of Duty.
Kyler Murray is playing excellent football. Of course, everybody knows that he's a mobile QB and can do wonders with his feet, but dude has also looked really good passing the football. And I think the thing about the Cardinals is that they're finding different ways to beat teams. Like last week, for example, the run game was so good, they didn't really have to utilize Kyler Murray a whole lot through the air. And now this week, Marvin Harrison Jr. rocking. You look at freaking Trey McBride, who is a monster. And looking at the Cardinals, they are not a perfect team in any way, shape, or form, but they have enough talent that they're able to win these games, and a 4-game win streak, regardless of who they're playing, is impressive. And right now, they are number 1 within their division, a division I think is very winnable. The 49ers don't look like the same team, but with CMC back, we'll see how he looks in the coming weeks. And then looking at the Seahawks and Rams, I mean, the Rams lost last night, and the Seahawks, who the hell knows with them? So the Cardinals are in a very fortunate situation. They're winning against the teams that are in front of them. I gotta give them credit. That's why they're in the top 10, and Grandpa Cardinal, he'd just be so proud. Speaking of Grandpa Cardinal, at number 7, we got the Washington Commanders. The Commanders still remaining in the top 10 despite their 1-point loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But this is a pretty infuriating game for the Commanders because nobody could catch the frickin' frackin' football. And while there wasn't enough magic for Jaden Daniels, I still got to give the Commanders credit. Not only are they playing really well, but on top of that, they are overperforming on defense. Their offense with a rookie QB being able to put up these kind of stats and also be second in their division is really damn impressive. They have a very important game this Thursday against the Philadelphia Eagles, which could determine who is going to get that major advantage in the NFC East, because the Cowboys and the Giants, they sure as hell are not winning the division. And so for the Commanders, I still have a lot of faith and optimism in them. With the NFC, as I mentioned before, it's getting a little bit dicey. We'll see if they're going to be able to make a playoff spot heading deeper into November, because I think things are going to get kind of tight. And the Steelers are a very good football team. So because of the quality of the competition and the way that they played, which somebody would catch the football, they still get a top 10 spot. And Commanders fans, yeah, just forget that Jaden Daniels was outplayed by Russell Wilson.
Gotcha! SpongeBob! I'm going to pretend that didn't happen.
Number 6, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, whew, they put a beating on the Dallas Cowboys to get back into first place in the NFC East.
Sorry. That was amazing. Did you see how scared he got?
Yeah. How did that feel?
Felt good. Yeah. Yeah, it felt real good.
Jalen Hurts has been playing great football. That Eagles defense has been playing great football. Of course, you have Saquon Barkley. You have all the weapons on offense. And the Eagles, they're starting to put things together and are starting to look a little bit like a scary football team. I know in the beginning of that game, it was a little bit close, and I know we can't really put too much stock into it because they're going against Cooper Rush and Trey Lance for the Cowboys, but they still deserve credit the way they've been playing for the past month. I know about a month ago, we were talking about Nick Sirianni, and Eagles fans saying he's got to go, and now things are a little bit quieter in Philadelphia because winning solves a lot of problems. Like I mentioned for the Commanders, this Thursday night game is going to be pivotal. The Eagles and Commanders, they usually play really close, tight, contested contests, and I imagine Thursday is going to be the same. So we'll see how good the Eagles are on Thursday if Jalen Hurts can continue his great season and see if they can get a win. But either way, Thursday night can't come soon enough, and Eagles, you keep on soaring. Number 5, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, I needed you to have a big win over a competitive opponent, and here come the Washington Commanders. Getting it done. Russell Wilson with a beautiful moonball to Mike Williams of all people. Getting that win, the defense looking good. The offense, Russell Wilson has been playing pretty well. I know his stat line wasn't amazing, but getting it done when he needed to. And Steelers fans right now, they're just enjoying the ride.
I had a bad experience on this ride once before.
What happened?
I threw up.
And there's a lot to be excited for if you're a Steelers fan right now. Not only is maybe this team good enough to actually win a playoff game, because I know there's been a drought as of late, but looking at the rest of their schedule, before the season started, I was looking at the Steelers going, oh man, like this last 9-game stretch is going to be pretty damn rough. And now, considering that they won so many divisional games last year, if they're able to do that again and almost sweep their division, the Steelers are going to be in a really good spot going forward. And so while I know that there's still some trepidation and some unwillingness to believe in the Steelers, they've been playing really solid football. They're coached really well. And if that offense and defense can remain consistent, who knows how high their ceiling can be. And all we know is Steelers going to Super Bowl. Number 4, you got the Buffalo Bills. The Bills. It wasn't the prettiest game, but they got a win over the Indianapolis Colts. And Josh Allen, yeah, he might have some beef with that Colts defender.
And you'll be happy to know that he punched me in the face several times.
That does make me happy.
Just punching and punching and punching. And listen, I don't want to look past any opponent because it's important that the Bills got the win. Their wide receivers are injured to hell right now. But at the moment, all eyes are focused on next Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the good news is Matt Milano, his return is on the horizon, which will be an enormous boost for that defense as they prep to go into the playoffs. Because let's be honest, they win in that division. They might have that locked up in a few weeks. And the Bills right now, everything is looking up. Like I said, it wasn't the prettiest win. Their run defense, there is stuff to be concerned about. But getting Milano back at some point is going to help. And I think the Bills have a good amount of momentum going forward. We'll see how they're going to stack up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are still holding on to that undefeated record. I think it's going to be a blockbuster on Sunday because it's always fun when these two teams get together. Fun mostly when you're a Chiefs fan. But on Sunday, we're going to see what the Bills are really made of, and let's see if they can get that W. Number 3, you got the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, another classic with the Cincinnati Bengals coming down to the wire, and that offense is looking so good. You just got to hope that they're not asking much of their defense come playoff time.
If any of you need anything at all, too bad. Deal with your problems yourselves like adults.
Yeah, just close your eyes when they're on defense, and it doesn't seem that bad. And listen, I gotta give a shout out to the Bengals. They just do not have a good defense, but Joe Burrow is also playing out of his mind. But you look at right now who is the actual front runner for MVP, I think you're looking at Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry, he's out there for Offensive Player of the Year. He's contending for that, and they are just putting together such a great balanced offense. Lamar Jackson, what he's able to do is absolutely insane. I mean, his scrambling ability alone and to get 20 yards out of what looks like it's gonna be a sack is incredible. And again, the problem is, and for Ravens fans, is that we've seen this before. They were the best team in the AFC last year, and guess what? They still lost to the Chiefs. And so while I do still have a tough time fully believing in the Ravens, and I do look at that defense of being a problem, I still think they are one of the best football teams in the NFL. They were able to sweep the Bengals in 2 great games, and while not everything is perfect, their offense is good enough to beat the top teams in this league. And so, for right now, the Ravens coming in at number 3. Let's see if you can keep on flying high. Number 2, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs. They somehow, someway get another win. And honestly, there's only one explanation as to why they're winning every game.
I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
It's blood magic, damn it! But the Chiefs able to get a miraculous win against the Denver Broncos off a blocked field goal, sending Brandon Perna scream into the void. And damn, they still get it done. And listen, while there's the illegal contact call that a lot of people are talking about, this defense of the Chiefs is still really damn freaking good. Their offense, there's some to be desired, but Isaiah Pacheco, he's going to be returning somewhat soon. That news just came out today, and that is going to be a huge boost for this offense, which already has a pretty damn good run game with Kareem Hunt, and it's only going to get better. And the reason the Chiefs are not number 1 right now is because of the quality of their opponent. I know the Broncos defense is really good. I just think the Texans are a better football team, and let's be very honest, the Lions had to come back down from a major detriment to win that football game. And so Chiefs fans, I'm sorry if you're upset, but the way that you played, I mean, this close from losing that football game, I'm giving you credit because you were able to keep that undefeated streak. And because of that, you're sitting at number 2. You got a game with the Bills on Sunday. Let's see if you can hold on to that thing and go double digits. And who knows, 72 Dolphins when you're going to pop that champagne. And number 1, still the reigning, defending top team in the NFL, you got the Detroit Lions. And the only explanation I have is Ben Johnson just wanted to see how many interceptions they could throw and still win that game.
That's idiotic.
But it just might work.
Because that was a rough first half for the Detroit Lions. And listen, I got to give a lot of credit to the Texans. That's why they're an honorable mention. That pass rush was doing damage. The offensive line did not look good for the Lions. They couldn't establish the run at all in that first half. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions, and I want to be very clear. The first one got tipped at the line. The other one, he got hit from behind, and the third one was just a Hail Mary. So it didn't really sink them, but looking at how stagnant that offense is, it makes it even more impressive they were able to come back, establish that run against the Texans defense, and the Lions D was also able to contain whatever Bobby Slowick was attempting to do and shutting out the Texans offense in the second half. I know that's been a problem for the Texans throughout this entire season, but I got to give the Lions at least a little credit there. And the Lions being able to battle back from adversity just shows that they are a battle-tested team. I think they are a beatable football team. I think every single one of these teams has shown that they are definitely beatable. But for the Lions to have this kind of win, even though it was ugly and Jared Goff had 5 interceptions, I got to give him a good amount of credit against a quality opponent in the Texans. And so because of that, Lions, you're still at number 1, and we'll just wait until December until the Packers play you again, and then we'll see where you are. But just to recap, at number 1, we got the Lions, 2 Chiefs, 3 Ravens, 4 Bills, 5 Steelers, 6 Eagles, 7 Commanders, 8 Cardinals, 9 Chargers, and 10 Satan. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who should be on this list? Who should be off of it? Let me know. You know, I saw me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at Tom Grossi Comedy, all social media, see down below. A big shout and thank you to all the YouTube members and Patreon members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack Go.